What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Something to Say podcast.
Yes, sir.
With my boys Rudy and my other boy Ed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And once again, we got something to say. All right, so today we gotta open up the episode with the Lakers-Warriors series because Game 1 was last night, and was it a banger?
It was amazing. The game was amazing. Mm-hmm. No lie. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought that the Warriors were going to beat them. Everybody thought that Lakers didn't stand a chance. Lakers were going to get humbled. Lakers were going to have a wake-up call. They thought that they were still riding on the win from Memphis, and they thought that, okay, we got this. And everybody was talking shit, basically, but Lakers were like, guess again. You know what I mean? We're better than we thought, too. And that's why I think it is, though. I think that win against Memphis, the way they put them away, woke them up. I think it was genuinely LeBron going into the locker room like, you guys, look at what we're capable of.
Yes.
Look at what we're able to do. We deserve to be here. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I saw. It was somewhat of a continuation when they played against the Warriors, personally.
Honestly, I couldn't agree more with you, dude. Cause,
it's a good take.
Because the Grizzlies came in as a higher seed than both the Lakers and the Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were... Well, they were the number 2 seed, I'm pretty sure. They were coming in with all this momentum into the playoffs, and then, honestly, the Lakers kind of handled them easily. Like, if we're talking about the entire series, they won 4-1. They dominated that series. And then, I think they kind of found their rotation, because watching the Lakers last night, it's almost seamless that the way they're using Austin Reeves, and then they're using, what's that other?
D'Lo?
Not D'Lo. The
dude,
the way that they're rotate. Okay, the thing I had to bring up today in our podcast is the Warriors look like a small AAU team against not
AAU team.
Bro. Damn. Their size difference. They were getting bodied on almost every possession. The Lakers had open shots on damn near every possession, dude. The Warriors are going to have a hard time dealing with the length of... Because on the floor at the same time, you have AD, LeBron, and then Austin Reeves is not a small guy.
No.
He's big.
And they're honestly, the Warriors, their biggest player is Looney, and he's not even 7 foot.
Yeah.
And AD had 30 and 23.
30 and 23. And it was an easy 30 and 23.
Easily. It was
easy.
Yes.
Dude, one thing that Stan Van Gundy said, shout out to Stan Van Gundy last night because it really rang true, is that AD is going to have his way in this series.
Oh, yeah.
No one can...
They can't guard him.
Nobody
don't have
can
an
guard
answer
him.
for him.
They do not have an answer for him. He's going to have his way in this whole series. So the Warriors are going to live and die by the 3, and if their 3 ball is off like it was last night, they're going to get mollywopped. Because did you see how much they were crowding the paint in that game, and they were really stopping them from that inside out, and they were like, go ahead. They were leaving Gary Payton wide open, they were leaving Draymond, and I was like, dude, the Warriors don't have enough to deal with that, because you can let Gary Payton shoot an open 3 all game long.
Hey, I'll live with that. He's gonna have to hit 12 threes to beat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he has to.
And he never will.
Yeah.
And how easy to sink the defense back when Draymond and Gary Payton are on the floor. And then also their rookie, the redhead from Villanova, the same thing. Leave him wide open. You just don't let Curry, Poole, and Clay get an open 3, and then you guard the basket with freaking AD and LeBron sinking back. Dude,
But that's the thing, though, too, though. They ended up posting the stat, and the stat that they posted, though, was that Clay, Steph, and Jordan Poole all scored 6 threes each.
Mm-hmm.
Each. That was 18 threes that they scored in that game, and the Lakers were, 1 for 9?
Yeah.
It was all mid-range for them.
Yeah,
all mid-range in the basket, and they still won.
And honestly, it was closer than it should have been at the end. It was a lot closer.
It wasn't that those big 3 had bad games. They scored 6 threes. They did their job as a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They made baskets.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have an answer for AD, man.
Hey,
I genuinely think he's the key. He's the... they always, LeBron this, LeBron, we can't win. No, you guys can't win without Anthony Davis.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's the key to
That's
winning
the X factor
series,
right there.
without a doubt.
AD.
I couldn't agree more with you, dude. I don't know if the Warriors are going to find a really hard time guarding AD. And, even if there's the Lakers now have found themselves with a array of weapons, so where you have scoring from all these different positions. And honestly, you know who was an underrated defender in that game was Vanderbilt. Like Vanderbilt
him
came
guarding
out,
Steph, that was genius, man.
Yes. The Warriors, like even the threes they were making were contested threes. Yeah. Like they did not have those open looks. And you know the Warriors, they love to like set picks and let Curry and Clay run around and find their shot. Yeah. And they still were contesting damn near every three, even with them two running around and getting open like they do. Yeah. Like honestly, remember in the first episode I picked the Warriors. I'm sticking with that, but I'm scared.
Warriors to the finals?
Warriors to the finals. I did say that in the first one. And I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it, y'all. But this is scary. The Lakers are scary in the West. Like, and honestly, like as much as I don't want to be wrong about the Warriors, I would love to watch the Nuggets versus the Lakers because that is such a
AD versus Jokic.
Oh gosh,
that would be tough.
Because if we're being real though, respectfully, who do the Warriors have as an answer to Jokic?
Oh, nobody.
They can't even handle AD.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, oh my god. So I don't know. I guess in a way, nobody expected the Lakers to be this successful. No, you know what I mean. Like easily first round exit. That's what we all thought. I thought.
I definitely.
I've been a fan since day one. Since I was a.
I thought Ja was going gritty all over the Lakers logo.
I thought they were going to lose the play-in game because they had to beat the Timberwolves to get into the playoffs. Yeah. And like I even thought they were going to lose the play-in. Like honestly, just to segue into the Nuggets Suns game. Jokic carried the entire Denver team on his back in that game. Oh my gosh. He put on a masterclass against the Suns with CP3 and Devin Booker and KD and their rotation. Like Jamal Murray was 1 for 9. Yeah. 1 for 9
ice
going
cold.
in.
That's my boy too. That's my boy.
I've never seen Murray play a worse game, like honestly, in his whole NBA career. Like he had a horrible game. Yeah. And they had no answer for Jokic. They could not stop the Joker. Like
he's just so unorthodox.
He's so unorthodox.
Shoot, dribble, passing, post game, defense,
and he's so smooth with
his court vision,
and his picks. He big as hell, so it's like.
And he's not fast though either. That's what's so crazy. He's not a fast player, and he's just I don't know, man. And like you see his arms all cut up and everything because he gets in there.
Yeah,
man.
He does.
Yeah,
he gets in there.
He's physical. I love it.
So that was my pick too. Though, like I obviously common sense. I wanted my Lakers to go all the way, but. Common sense, logically speaking, I was going for Denver.
I would love to see
day
Denver
one.
win.
You could read that from the first episode. I was saying it there too.
But yeah.
Hey, if it goes down to Denver or the Lakers, you know I'm riding with my Lakers. So,
but that will be a banger. That will be the most even Denver Lakers series like ever because. The Lakers are the Denver Killers when it was when it was AI and Carmelo and that whole group with Kenyon and everyone. They were doing really well until they ran into Kobe. Yeah. And every time they ran into Kobe, they got put down easily every single time.
They had no answers for.
They were the kryptonite.
So
always, man.
Part of me wants to see that series because they actually match up really well. Because you do have the size in Denver to match up with the size of the Lakers. And they have an inside and outside game, just like the Lakers have an inside and outside game. It's very like the Warriors are all 3-point line. It was crazy to watch like the difference between the two teams last night. Yeah,
and you can't help but study. You can't help but study it.
I agree. Mannerisms. Like and and I think that might be what the Warriors' whole downfall in this whole series is like. They live and die by the 3, but they might die badly on the 3 in this one, like because the Lakers are going to continue to get to the post, and they're going to continue to get their shots inside the paint, and like AD's going to, like we talked about, like who is going to stop him?
If the Warriors, if their offense is off in any game, it's a wrap because they don't have defense.
Yeah, and honest to God, they don't have a bench either, though.
Yeah,
they don't really have much of a bench.
They don't.
While the Lakers, they have some pretty good pieces that they can use to support the starters and everything to hold it down while the starters rest. They can. They really can. I'm actually even surprised by that. But I think the best bench, though, would probably be Denver.
Yeah, Denver's bench is nasty. Like
pretty deep.
Because even Phoenix doesn't have a bench like I thought they would.
Their bench is bad. Like Phoenix is starting to show like they're so top heavy. They are so top heavy.
Oh, yeah.
They have no help in their rotation. Like, and that's the part of the reason.
Denver got rid of everybody.
Yeah, they got rid of everybody for KD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just...
Monty Williams said himself, and I got a lot of respect for Monty Williams.
Yeah,
that dude's been through a lot too. Always. And he said the only time in his whole career that he cried over a trade or losing players was Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson going to Brooklyn. He said he cried when they traded them.
Those were some pivotal pieces.
Yes, pivotal pieces. But good young core pieces too. Yeah. Off the bench. Cam Johnson would come off the bench and give you 12, 14. And Mikal Bridges was starting for them. And Mikal Bridges went to Brooklyn and started dropping 30 a game.
Yeah.
Like he liked that. He could score
too, man. Like perimeter defense, like crazy steals, blocks, consistent play every single game, not missing any.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you go to a team like Brooklyn that's underdeveloped, you know, they need help and everything, and boom, he's like their knight in shining armor pretty much. Like,
you know what's a good example of that? When CJ McCollum was on the King, he was barely getting tagged. People didn't know who he was. Man. Went to the Trailblazers, started balling. Balling. One of the top guards in the league.
1-2 piece with Damian Lillard.
Wait, do you mean when he went from Timberwolves? I mean, when he went to Portland to New Orleans, I think is what, because he got drafted in Portland with.
Did he get drafted
with Damian? But he was like second fiddle in Portland. I think he went Portland and then New Orleans, and then he broke out in New Orleans with the Pelicans.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
no, you're right. No, he is right. We can edit that out. No,
we'll fact check it.
We'll fact check that later.
Fact check.
Yeah, no, definitely that.
But either way, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So it's just crazy, like how one player go one team, they barely getting used, and just go to another team and go crazy.
Yeah, see, that's the Lakers' curse though too, though, because look at the Lakers had at one point Jordan Clarkson, D'Lo, Julius Randle, Brandon Ingram, all the look at where they are now.
Right.
Look at them now.
Dog.
You know what I mean? They leave. Kyle Kuzma's doing his thing in Washington.
Yeah,
you know
I'm actually happy for Kyle Kuzma because he was like the joke of the league at one point, and now he's actually balling.
Yeah,
man.
You gotta respect
so is Julius Randle in the playoffs.
Julius Randle too. Like, oh man, Julius is special.
Yeah. When was the last time the Knicks were relevant, you guys?
I'm finding myself rooting for them. Like at the end of the day, East Coast, I'm still going with
Carmelo
Philly.
was on it.
But, oh man, dude. Yeah, literally since Melo.
Yeah.
Since Melo, bro.
And even then, they didn't go this far in the playoffs. They'd always be a first round exit.
I thought Cleveland was gonna win that series, to be honest.
I did too. I thought Donovan Mitchell was gonna.
Yeah, Cleveland had a squad, but besides that, though, personal opinion, I don't think the 1-2 punch between a point guard and a shooting guard is a good idea. I don't think so. You know, it can win games, but it'll never be enough because look at, for example, Portland. Damian and CJ McCollum. Yeah. Amazing. Two of the best guards I've ever seen, for sure. But nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
You know, now also look at the Wizards. Back when John Wall was balling, right? It was John Wall and Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
That was a nice one, too.
Nice as hell, too.
Yeah.
But whatever happened.
Didn't do nothing when it was
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Man, I noticed that recently. I'm like, dude, like as nice as it looks, they don't have enough depth, man. Like they need to have at least a big man.
You gotta have
a big man has to be involved in the championship, bro.
Like look at the Phoenix Suns, for example. A couple years ago when DeAndre Ayton was still a rookie, he had potential for days, but he was nowhere near there yet.
Yes.
Booker was already basically almost a star.
Yeah.
And obviously Chris Paul was already a superstar.
Yeah.
So they basically had the 1-2 punch of Chris Paul and Devin Booker while DeAndre Ayton was still somewhat like he was getting
developing,
there. He was developing and everything, right? So look what happened.
Yeah. Yes, you know and then look who they lost to. Giannis and Middleton and Drew Holiday. Inside, outside. Yeah. Like
they have depth, man.
I couldn't
Brook
agree.
Lopez.
Yes. But like having that like kind of like you need look at back when the last champion even when the Lakers won in the bubble, they had AD and LeBron. Yeah. But then you go back to like when was their championship before that? Powell and Kobe. Yeah. Like that inside outside combination is tough.
It's
like,
different.
Yeah. And if you look at even the Warriors championships too, like they had a lot of good output from Draymond and Bogut. Because when they won, Bogut was huge for them.
He was a force.
Like, he was big for them. Like, and like I know Bogut's not a star, but obviously like Curry and Clay could like help that. Like, but it's still that inside outside. Yeah. Like you got to have the threat from both. Look at the Denver Nuggets; they're the number 1 seed this year. They're clowning on the Suns, and they got that perfect combination of Jokic and Murray, and they play so well together.
Yeah.
So it's hard to guard that. And in the pick and roll, especially when you can shoot like Jokic can, it's damn near impossible. Because I think Jokic might have the best touch in the entire NBA. They literally, like, watching him play is like poetry in motion for being how big he is.
Post hook, fade, three.
Like off kilter, like one foot fade away, 1 foot like teardrop. Like he's got the whole bag.
He's a perfect mix between finesse and aggressive.
Yes.
Like, he has both.
Yes. And that's why it looks like poetry, though, is because he's not fast.
Yeah, he's not.
So it's like he's so much slower doing things, and somehow it goes in, and you're just like, that was beautiful. Yes. Holy shit. Like, damn.
He had me mesmerized in that Nuggets game because literally, like, I've never seen Jamal, like we talked about, do so bad, and still Jokic carrying that team on his absolute back in that series or in that game, and no one could touch him. No one could touch him. It didn't matter what they were doing, like defensively. Like the Suns had no answer for him. Yeah. You know what Jokic reminds me of is Dirk Nowitzki. Like Dirk
one of my favorites.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
The GOAT.
All time.
He's goaty.
Like
he's goaty.
Yeah.
Dirk was never gonna blow by you or like outrun you or or cross you over, but boy was he smooth, and boy did he have every shot in the bag,
and you couldn't stop it. I think I've seen probably maybe once or twice it might got us swatted in his whole career though. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's fucking insane.
It's like you just gotta hope he missed.
Yeah.
And that's why whoever's watching this, do your research. Look back in the history of the NBA. All the champions consisted of a big man and like either a 2-guard or like a 3-guard.
Oh, you know,
that's what it
Houston
was.
Rockets, you had.
For example,
Kenny, Elijah Wan.
Right? Look at obviously Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
That one year when the Heat won it was D-Wade and Shaq before LeBron came.
Oh, yeah.
D-Wade and Shaq. Yeah. That was another one, right?
Dude, Big Three, they had Chris Bosh in the game.
Yeah, Chris Bosh.
Yes, they did.
Look at the Spurs. Tony Parker and Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Look who complimented them, though. Kawhi and Manu Ginobili.
Yeah.
And the David Robinson before that when they won.
Exactly.
Like the Twin Towers.
You can go back, dude, you can even go back to the Bulls with Rodman and Kukoc.
Yeah.
Like, dude, solid. Like, you need that presence on the inside, and also to get you the boards. Like when you need, like AD was killing them on the board.
Oh,
like,
yes.
You know, like last night too, the Lakers were getting so many more second chance opportunities because they were cleaning up on the offense and the defense boards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's a really good observation. I mean, I'd love to go back and look at literally the last 30 champions.
You know what?
And look at every squad.
We should look it up and just come back with the facts.
We're gonna come back to you.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Facts. Like,
we'll come back for sure.
And let's see how many we can literally rank how many teams did it without necessarily at least a B plus or A plus or B plus to A's.
Big man.
Big man.
Okay.
Yeah. Like who was the last team to even remotely do it with? You know, you might go back to like the Raptors with Kawhi. I don't remember. The big man isn't like coming to mind.
Right?
Like.
Pascal Siakam.
I think that came before. I think they won the championship. Was he there?
Yeah, he was on that team. He was a monster.
But do we put him in the really like top tier big man? Like,
I would, because he was killing that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you can be shitty all season, but if you have an amazing series in the playoffs, you're gonna stand out. They're gonna remember you.
True.
He was killing.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's why I think he had a subpar season.
Yeah.
But when those finals came around, that man, you know what I mean? He showed up. So look at history in general, though. Even like the Celtics, way back in the day, Bill Russell and Bob Cousy.
Yeah, dude.
Kevin McHale,
and Larry Bird and everything. You had them as well. You had was it from the Lakers? Even though they kept losing because the Celtics kept beating them.
Oh, but Kareem.
And Magic. They had them as well. But before that too, Will Chamberlain and Jerry West.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they're just from day one, dude. You need a big man and you need a 2-guard around there. But that
Celtics, they had Bill Russell. He got 11 of them things.
That's what I'm saying,
That's
man.
crazy.
So look at right now, even as we're watching, we got the Celtics and the Sixers going on, right? Why are they successful? They got Harden and Embiid. You know what I mean? But like little, how do I say this? Like there's little examples of how things could actually change. Like for example, the Celtics here, their stars are once again that 2-guard and that 3-guard.
Yeah.
Right? It's Jason Tatum and
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And so obviously, but you also have somebody like Horford who, although he's not a superstar, he's a well-respected vet.
Yeah.
He plays his role. He knows what he has to do and he contributes.
Yes, he does.
So even if you have something like that, that third person, although they're not a star, but they contribute.
Yeah.
Oh, you're winning.
I agree.
You're winning.
But I think you make a great. Like it's crazy looking back. Like I think you're spot on. With this like big man, and because what have the Celtics done? Nothing with this squad that they've had. We've had the same core team for the last 3 to 4 years, and they've been to the finals, and they still can't get over the hump. Yeah. And I know they lost to the Warriors last year, but Steph Curry went absolutely God mode in that series.
Yeah, he did.
You know, there are going to be exceptions when you have a literally top, like arguably top 10, top 5 player of all time who can literally take over series. But that was 2 teams that didn't have a big man. Because, like, even though you make a good point with Horford, like, they still don't have an actual presence. The Celtics don't, and neither did the Warriors. So that made for a really good matchup for them. Yeah. But, like, if you would have thrown together, for instance, if the 76ers were to make it to the finals and play the Warriors, that's a problem for the Warriors. Because Embiid's going to get his just like AD's getting his.
Yeah.
And any big man would. Yeah. Any big man would.
And, like, that's where, like, you know, especially since the traditional center in today's NBA is kind of dying off. Like, if you can't shoot a 3 as a center anymore, then you ain't gonna be out there. Like, you need to be able to stretch the floor at the center position now. Like,
look, good example, Bill McGee.
Oh, dude,
where is he at?
He's right in the bench somewhere.
Personally, I love JaVale.
I love him too.
I love his game. I love his energy that he brings off the bench. Emphasis off the bench, but I love it. You know what I mean? And I think he's needed. I would put JaVale on the Lakers in a heartbeat.
You know who need him right now?
But
Golden State.
For sure. That's for sure.
They definitely.
That's another thing too. Look what happened with Dallas, though. That's another example of how it doesn't work. You put Kyrie and Luka together.
And they didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Dallas was sitting in 3rd place before Kyrie joined the team. They were sitting in 3rd in the West, and they didn't even make it.
They plummeted after that. They absolutely dropped.
And they had highlights for days. Yes. Like he actually offensively, he did his thing on the team. You know, he didn't have one bad game that he played in, not one. But it doesn't matter. But you need, because at the end of the day,
you need depth.
It's no longer a league where 1 or 2 players are the stars. No, everybody knows how to fucking play. Everybody knows how to play in that court. You better come ready.
The skill level now was crazy. Yeah. Like even people on the bench, bro.
Yeah,
without a doubt, dude.
You need a bench. You need a bench. Even look back, like kind of going on to the bench play. It's like if you look at the Warriors when they went on their run, they had Iggy, they had Barbosa, they had some Iggy. really good players that were coming off the bench. And dude, Iggy was the LeBron stopper when they won. He played amazing.
Finals
defense.
MVP, baby.
Yeah, bro.
That was crazy.
And that's because he shut down LeBron. Well, as much as you can shut down. Yeah. No one's ever gonna shut down LeBron, but you can slow him down. And there have been very few players over his entire career that's been able to slow him down. You could easily talk about Iguodala. You could talk about the Orlando Magic holding him back for all those years when he was up in his prime. Shout out to the Magic on that. You know what I'm saying? Because let's not forget, they stopped the Cavs 2 times on their run to the finals. 2 years in a row. When the Magic were cooking with Hito and Jameer Nelson and Dwight. Rashard Lewis is one of my favorite players of all time. Like one of the silkiest shots of all
from the corner.
I love. That's poetry to me. I just love that.
Those first few years that Dwight was actually amazing. Too, you know what I mean? He complimented that team so well.
Yes, he did. And once again, talking about, like, even though the Magic didn't win, but they were dominating the East for a few years with that inside-out game. They had
Jameer Nelson, White. That was
And once again, just like that, the topic too of teams that didn't make it but could have easily won the chip. Like that team, the Pistons, Chauncey Billups, and Ben Wallace and Rashard Wallace. Small and the big.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? What's another one? You can name them like crazy. Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
And the Lakers always took them out.
Yeah.
And that's a great point, because you could go back to Charles Barkley when he was, and if it wasn't for Mike, like, Charles might have a couple rings. And also if you go back to, like, because
he had KJ too. It was him and KJ.
Yeah.
All that KJ at the guard. He was
ridiculous, man. Even the Knicks too. Freaking what? John Starks and Patrick Ewing.
That Knicks,
like small and a big. You need a floor general. You need somebody that's able to direct traffic, make the plays, and then you need a scorer.
The thing with them, they had the formula, but it's just people had a better big and a better guard, so it's kind of like...
It was Michael, man. Michael and Scotty, man. It's
that's tough. And you got big Horace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horace down there.
Yeah.
And then if you want to throw it back, like, think about the Nets, and the Nets in the early 2000s had one of the best regular seasons, two back-to-back best regular seasons ever, and got swept 2 years in a row by the Lakers when they had Shaq and Kobe and that whole squad going. Because the Nets, tell me they're big man. Like, they had Jason Kidd, they had Richard Jefferson, they had Kerry Kittles. And who was their big man? I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't even remember.
I'm trying. So
yeah. But, like, that's a great point, because that team got demolished when they got put up against demolished. Yeah. And trust me, I remember that because I was rooting hard for the Nets in those series. Man. And they got squashed. Squashed. And even, and go back to the Celtics when they beat the Lakers. KG down low, Paul Pierce, Rondo on the outside, Ray Allen.
Bro, that team was fun.
That team was... I ended up revisiting that series, the playoff run where they won, where Boston won, and then I revisited the next season when the Lakers won against that same team. Astronomically different, like the way they played completely. Yes. Completely. That Boston team, scary. It took everything for Kobe to win that series. It took everything.
I think that's Kobe's best ring was with Powell against the Celtics and the Big Three, because the Celtics were the very original Big Three. They were the ones who... They can never say they weren't the ones that started this whole thing. They definitely started it. And you can't tell me LeBron... Because LeBron... You know what?
That's true.
They were the original. I
forgot about that.
The original to team up and come together. And then...
Oh, my God.
And then that planted the seed in LeBron's head, because he's like, why am I over here in Cleveland getting ousted every year when I could be teaming up as well? And then this dude teams up with, obviously... Like Dwayne Wade and Bosh, and creates that next big three, and then you have like KD and Kyrie coming together and getting was it Harden? Like at first when it was the three of them, and this continuation. You know who took out the once again the Spurs with Tim Duncan and Tony and Ginobili took out that young Thunder squad that was destroyed them when it was Russell and KD and Harden, all in their early years too.
And what was so crazy was, even back in those days though, as I'm watching the Thunder, I'm literally telling myself, and my dad even reminded me the other day, that's the only reason I'm up. He was just like, you know what's so crazy about that team? Like, I remember you ended up saying,
yeah.
Was it in 2013 that squad? Okay, so I was like 18. So he's like, I remember you were like only 18. All three of these players, Russell, KD, and Harden, they can each run their own team.
Yes.
They can each run their own team. The fact that they play well together is cool and all, but they can easily run their own team. Yes. And look what happened.
And they did.
They all did.
Harden in Houston, it needs to be studied. That man was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. And then just the way Russell would just slash the lane. Like, oh my God. Unstoppable.
Think about Russell, the few years after they both left, was still keeping the Thunder relevant by himself.
Mr. Triple-Double.
Like, he was the face. What we were saying. Yeah, Russell was holding down OKC. Mm-hmm. Just averaging triple-double after triple-double, breaking the record completely. Yeah. From, who did he break it for? Oscar Robertson.
Yeah.
The Big O. The Big O.
That had held for a long, long time.
Yeah. Nobody.
Which had proved that he can run a team on his own.
Yes.
Although they weren't winning chips, but they were keeping their name relevant, to be honest with you. So
definitely.
As he held down the team, let's move over to James Harden real quick with the Rockets. So
yes.
I had never seen an offensive game so fluid on such a consistent basis. So those hezzy steps that he would do, the Euro steps, everybody, it would piss off everyone.
Oh,
he was public enemy number one.
He was.
Just Googling, like everybody, I know everybody was Googling, is that a travel? Looks like a travel. And the fact that they weren't calling it, and his step back threes that he'd make, it was just, oh my God, man.
So like half of his points don't.
basically, completely. And so they had a squad, and the next thing you know, CP3, who got tired of playing in the Clippers because they just kept losing.
Yeah.
So he moves over there. So we're thinking, okay, they are contenders for sure. And how do you think that ended up playing out?
Yeah, honestly though, like you brought up a great point in our first episode, just a callback to like that's when Harden gained his reputation of when the lights were bright, though.
Oh, yeah.
He'd always find a way to kind of disappear, like, in those days. Like, and it really hurt the Rockets, like, because, like, what we were looking up is, like, during that time when the Warriors were really catching their stride during that time, and they had a squad.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, Harden was, like, like, almost every season, the Rockets were, like, the number one seed in the West for, like, 3 or 4 years. And then they get into the playoffs, and then they would just, like, kind of, like, shy away from the light, kind of like, you know, the big players play the biggest in the bright lights, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like they kind of squandered Harden's, like, good years then, because, like you said, I think Harden might have been possibly in the possibly top 3 in the entire NBA at that time.
Yeah.
Like, and easily. And he was scoring, facilitating, like, everything for that team, you know. And, like, I think you look back on, you know, another, like, fun list would be, like, looking at all the teams that kind of, like, squandered their potential. The Clippers is, like, if we go back to
talking about Lob City?
Yes. And, like, how about, that's another team you can throw into the mix of having the right setup. Like, they had CP3.
Jamal Crawford.
And Jamal Crawford.
They were a championship team for 10 years or more.
Yeah, or more.
To this day, they had a championship caliber team.
Yes.
To this day.
And look at Blake Griffin now. Kind of sad.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't he on the bench on the Celtics?
Yes, he is. Like, honestly, like, that Clippers team will go into the NBA's Hall of What Ifs. Like, what if? Like, and so will the Houston Rockets with James Harden. Yeah. Like, what if, like, they could have won one ring? You know,
Chris Paul also got hurt too.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of.
He
tough.
couldn't stay healthy. No. And if it wasn't him, it was like Blake Griffin that couldn't stay healthy.
Yes, that team could never stay healthy. But like, CP3 himself cannot stay healthy. Like, he went, not to go off subject, but he went down in that game against the Nuggets the other night again. Yeah. And, like, I'm not clowning on him for that fact, but there is, you know, CP3, Ed's boy, is on the cusp of being Charles Barkley. Like, I said this before, but I will say it again.
That's tough. Like, that is a heavy ass.
Yeah, that's true. He will be clowned for the rest of his career.
Him and Carmelo.
Like for never winning a ring. Like, and being an all-time great player to not get a ring. CP3 is on that cusp. Because I'm telling you guys, you know what this Suns team reminds me of? Because of being a Magic fan and the misery of being a Magic fan over the last 20 years. When they sold off the team for Vince Carter. I don't know if you guys remember that. When he was late in his career, much like KD. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying KD ain't still that guy, but if they don't win in the next year or two, they have traded away their future to win now.
Cameron
and if you don't win now,
and
if you don't win now, then you're not going to win later because you don't have the team anymore. You don't have the young pieces. Yeah. And so, like, CP3 and KD are getting up there now. KD is getting up there. Like, you know, it's crazy to think about that, but he is. Like, he is getting into the later stages of his career. And if you look at LeBron was able to look at where he's at and go, you know, I can't carry the load anymore. Let me get players that can carry the load for me, and I can still be the GOAT around them, you know. And AD is a perfect example because if you watch LeBron the other night, he is finding his spots, finding his points.
Easily,
Instead of going and getting them on every position, he's waiting, he's saving that gas in his tank. And, like,
no more ISOs, it's all like working off the pick and roll.
And he does a great job with that. And he can just still go get his bucket when he wants, but he's not getting gassed out by having to go get his bucket every single, like Harden right now, same thing. Like, Embiid, this is your team, and I'm gonna be able to still get mine while you're carrying us on your back, you know. Like, and the problem with KD is now, you know, getting into his 30s, getting into his late 30s, you know, he's not gonna be able to carry the load like people think anymore. You know, every athlete. That name, that star power fizzles out at some point for everybody.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you cannot beat Father Time.
You can't. He remains undefeated.
He even took out Jordan.
Honestly, it's a heartbreaker though, because like we grew up watching Kobe, Melo, Dirk, Tim Duncan, Dwayne Wade, those are our heroes right there. You know what I mean? That's who we looked up to.
Yeah.
And now that next generation was what? Kyrie, Steph, KD, Harden, Kawhi. Now look at Steph. They just said it the other day, or what, yesterday. Steph's 35.
He's 35.
That blew my mind because I'm like, where did the time go, man?
He's 35.
Where did the time go?
5 more years and he was 40?
Maybe
5 more
5.
years.
Yeah.
And
dude.
if he even has that left, because that's another one, like, where it's like, and don't get me wrong, like, Curry is still that dude.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, when you get into your late 30s, that clock starts to, that hourglass starts to that sand falls even faster.
Oh, you
and
know. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, by the time he's 37, who knows, bro?
Yeah.
Who knows? Like, and Clay also is getting up there, and he's got two big like injuries under his legs too.
Yeah.
Like an ACL tear, and then he tore his freaking Achilles after that, bro.
That's tough.
And that is hard to come back from. That is. Like,
you can tell he's not the same player, although he definitely makes a difference for sure.
Yeah,
he's still amazing. He's still worth it, of course, but you could tell he lost a step. A little bit.
No, you can. It's sad.
He plays a little stiffer. He plays a little slower.
He's not the defender he used to be.
He's
Clay used to be.
He used to be locked now.
Honestly, Clay was one of the like if you go Clay prior tearing his ACL against the Raptors in the finals. He was one of maybe the best two-way player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Where you could count on him on both sides of the court. Like he was a shutdown defender, and he could get a basket, 3-pointer, inside anything under the arc, like over the arc and under the arc. He get whatever he wanted. Yeah. But now he's not the same defender anymore because
he don't got that goal. He don't got that goal like he used to have.
Yeah, and those legs anymore. I'm sure. Like after the 82 game seasons with two injuries like that, it's tough. Like it's really tough.
It's a lot of miles on the body, man.
So then let's lead that into what happened. Then obviously we'll get into KD nowadays and everything, but let's jump back real quick to the decision. This man joining Golden State.
Yeah, I've been waiting on this.
Let's dive into this a little bit.
That move, KD to the Warriors, was probably one of the weakest moves in sports history because that was worse than LeBron creating the super team with the whole ESPN, like, I'm going to Miami thing. That's worse than that. And I freaking hated that. And you want to know what made it worse is because he stabbed his brother in the back and went with the people that took them out of the playoffs.
Yes.
Like, how do you do that?
And see, no disrespect to Steph, Steph, Clay, or Draymond. Ever. And the only reason why they will forever get my love and respect is because they were drafted by the Warriors.
True.
And they stayed there. They didn't join a super team. They just so happened to be creating a super team just by being drafted there.
Yeah.
And they just so happened to play beautifully together. Draymond being the facilitator, the floor general.
Yes.
He was their point guard, basically. Yeah. While Steph did the scoring, Clay did the scoring, and everyone else just fit how they did. But for KD to join that team was very
weak.
It was weak. It was cowardly, to be honest with you.
Trash.
He was still, I'll say to the day I die, KD is one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my entire life. He will forever be top 10. In my opinion, top 10 all time, without a doubt. That is not a debate whatsoever.
Ooh.
But the fact that he had to do that for a ring, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, man. And the way he was celebrating, how happy he was. I understand you wanted it that bad, but in a sport like this, where every other player in that league wants it just as bad as you, like, you kind of chose the easy.
And then you left your boy, like that's your brother, bro. You left him for the people that beat y'all. Like that's like the lamest shit.
Yeah. And then, I
without
agree.
even telling him too. He didn't even send him a courtesy text either. Nothing. He just left.
I think you look at the years after too, and the way that he kind of left like a bitch too. Like he bitched out when Draymond called him out. Like, KD's always been, for lack of a better word, a sensitive superstar.
Oh, for sure.
His exploits in the media speak for themselves. Like he cannot. He had a burner account.
I was about to bring that up.
He had a burner account.
I forgot about that.
He would respond to I could have made a comment about KD, and he would respond to me and a nobody who shouldn't even be bothered. Like, do you think Kobe would have ever, and don't get me wrong, this is before the social media age, but do you think Kobe would have ever responded to some nobody talking shit about him on the, like, he could have been like, who cares? Like, or not even enough to say who cares. It's just, this is just nothing to me. This does not matter to me. Like, and KD let everybody and anybody get underneath his skin, and then him and Draymond, you know what you're getting with Draymond, and you're gonna have dust-ups with a player like Draymond because he plays with ultimate emotion at all time, passion, emotion, just he's oozing it at all times. But he's also like the ultimate competitor, and he's one of those players that the old saying, like, you love him to death when you play with him, and you hate his guts when he's on the other team.
He's cut from the same cloth as Rodman. Offensively he's not gifted, but he gives his heart out there 100%.
Yes, and he does not take a possession off.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
And the moment that KD got called out, there's still that famous clip of you can read his lips when he's walking back on the court and he's like, and that's why I'm gone. And he says that in the middle of the season. And I was like, dog, you are such a bitch. Like, I swear, like when you left your boy Russell, like, when you cannot tell me that's another big what if. What if KD stayed with the Thunder and actually said, Russell, let's go beat these guys. Let's go take this team out. Let's go retool in the offseason and let's come right back. Because they were up. That is, to throw back to that series, that's when Game 6 Clay was born. That's when he had that unbelievable Game 6 win to push it. Like, that was amazing. The Thunder had that series. Yeah. And then Clay had Game 6 Clay. They won Game 6, and then in Game 7 they ended up beating the Thunder. But that was it wasn't like they got swept. Yeah. And then KD goes, I gotta go join this team. Like, they could have beaten that team. They almost did. So it was even more snake. Could you imagine if you're Russell and you're that close and you're thinking, next year me and KD coming back, we can get some other pieces and we can make another run at this thing, and then the next thing you know is your boy left without talking to you and went straight to the enemy, straight to get an easy. Some people. Let me ask you. I'm gonna ask my boys this right now. Does his 2 rings with the Warriors deserve an asterisk next to them? Because a lot of people mention that when it comes to KD, they almost don't even count his 2 rings with the Warriors because of him just joining a super team, basically. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, if you go when KD hangs it up, are his 2 championships legitimate in your eyes?
I would say, like, are we also counting, like, LeBron's and Miami's?
But here's like,
no, based off the super team aspect alone.
Well, I will say this. I will say this. I'll give a caveat to this because I'll be straight up honest. I hated LeBron's decision. Yeah. I thought it was the most overdramatic fucking bullshit I've ever watched. Yeah. Like, it made it easy to hate the Heat. In fact, to this day, shout out to Renee, my homie from back home. He still loves to say "fuck the Heat," like, because that's basically saying, like, fuck the establishment, like, fuck them. Like,
I love D-Wade to death, but I do not care for Miami at all. Yeah, because of that.
Yes,
that team was so good that, like, it made you hate them. Like, personally, I did not like LeBron until he came back 3-1. And I saw the emotion on his face when he was at Cleveland. Yeah. The emotion, him crying on the floor. That night was the night that I was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
He is a great player, and I give him my respect 100%. And I can officially say I like LeBron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But same thing goes for my dad. My dad would say the same thing about Kobe. He didn't like Kobe his entire career. It took Kobe's last game of his career, scoring 50, as tore up as his body was, for my dad to be like, he put all that heart on the floor on his last game when they weren't even in championship contenders at all.
No.
He's like, he has my respect. I was like, damn, it only took 20 years. Like, what the hell was that? And then I ended up Googling it more, and I'm just like, oh, no wonder he says that. Michael Jordan's last game of his career, officially, he only scored like 15 points. He took it easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but see, my only argument, though, against him staying, though, KD staying, though, was Russell. I personally feel like Russell, KD, and Harden would not be the players they were today had they not left. I feel like they had to leave to grow and to become the leaders that they are, to become as amazing offensively as they've become.
Right.
Because Harden was nowhere near the Harden he was in Houston.
No.
When he was with OKC.
He used to come off the
bench. He had to leave. Yeah, he had to leave to spread those wings to become who he was now.
He was the sixth man off the bench. Mm-hmm. And you make a great point. And to go back to Ed's point about the Heat, is that I put that in a somewhat of a separate category because at least they came together collectively.
Yeah, true.
And there wasn't anything built there because the Heat kind of were post their last championship with Shaq, and so whereas KD literally jumped onto it all, like literally the champions from the year before, he jumped onto that bandwagon, and that makes it worse.
That makes it
asterisk. That's my answer. It's an asterisk.
Oof.
You flip over the championships and the players who got rings, and you get to KD, asterisk for sure.
It would have been viewed just as bad had LeBron joined the Heat in 2007, a year after Dwayne Wade and Shaq won it. He would have joined then. It would have been just as bad.
It would have been just as bad because that's literally okay. So because imagine this. So, well, first before we move on, asterisk or no asterisk on KD's rings?
You know what, man? As much as I personally want to say there's an asterisk on those rings, at the end of the day, on paper. In the NBA's eyes, on paper, it was allowed, it was legal, it was signed off. They allowed the trade to happen. So technically, it's legit. Unfortunately, although I don't agree with it, personally, I still think it's an asterisk for sure. But it's legit.
Okay.
So
you heard it here first.
It's like when Stern stopped the CP3 trade.
Oh my God, I'm still mad about that.
That is a legendary moment. Like that is a.
They didn't want Kobe to be great, bro. They didn't.
Come on, David Stern. Like rest in peace, but like, come on, man.
That was a rough one. That will go down in one of the most. I need to see a 30 for 30 about that whole thing, like a whole documentary on that and how it went down and the people that were involved. I need to see because how do you sign off on? Well, don't get me wrong. It was Adam Silver when KD was, but Adam Silver was like the protege to David Stern.
Yeah.
How do you sign off on that when you didn't allow CP3 to come with the Lakers, but you let KD join the Warriors? Like, are you kidding me? Like, if you guys remember when the Warriors played the Cavs with KD, it wasn't even fair. It was they got demolished. Like, and that was when LeBron was still in his prime. That was literally right after the 3-1 comeback. Like, and it just wasn't even close. That's when KD got the MVP 2 years in a row, the Finals MVP. Like, it just wasn't even a fair matchup in the finals. Like, those two finals were just easy pickings for the Warriors. Like with that combo. Like, and because now let me ask you guys this: imagine if KD back then, though, instead of going to the Warriors, what if he hit up a couple players from different teams and said, let's go over here? For instance, like, let's say, I'm just going to throw out, like, the Pelicans. And he was like, yo, like, let's join up over here at the Pelicans, like the Heat. Now, that's different because
I respect that more.
Right? Because now what the Heat did was they built something new. And what KD is he joined something that was already built for him.
Right.
And all he had to do was come in and give his gifts and win 2 easy rings. And so that is where I love that you both have different opinions on it. I honestly am so torn because I see where Rudy's coming from, where it's like it's a championship, it's a win, like they won no matter what.
Yeah.
But then where Ed's coming from is like every player in every sport has a legacy. And every legacy comes with receipts.
Oh, for sure.
And on KD's receipts is gonna be this kind of like always a 50-50 almost, if you will, between like just the NBA fan base of legitimacy of these rings, and even NBA stars and people like the talking heads like Barkley and Shaq and all these people have opinions about this, like, and Stephen A. and all these people have these opinions about this, and I feel like KD almost needs to win that last ring to kind of legitimize his legacy. And this will be somewhat of a knock on him in the long term if he doesn't win a ring. But even now, it just seems like he's bouncing super team to super team. It's like, even now I'm like, bro, I don't know if you'll ever, because you're just trying to get easy rings, dog. You didn't work out in Brooklyn when you built a big three. Now you got traded to the Suns. You got D-Book, you got CP3, and you got a young Ayton still
They're milking the hell out of D-Book's youth.
Oh, dude.
For sure.
Yeah,
that man is special.
Yeah, he is.
He is special, but they're using him because he's young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, putting in a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
It's just not working out. It's not. I feel like Phoenix was a better team last year without KD.
They were.
Yeah, they were.
They were much better last year.
Much more complete team.
Dude, when they
finished first.
They did.
They finished first.
And honestly, that 2 or 3 years ago when the Bucks beat the Suns, that series was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And almost every single game came down to the end. Like the Suns could have easily won that series. Like, it was so close. And I think it was just Giannis's freaking would refuse to. He dropped 50 in game freaking 7, and it went to 7 games too. So I don't know how you break that up. It's desperation. It's the Suns looking at their window, looking at CP3's window, seeing it closing, and it's like, we need to do something. We need to get a star. We need to do this. But like we talked about before, you need a rotation. The Suns have nobody on the bench to come out and help. Like, nobody.
I can't even think of nobody. That's how bad it is.
Literally, I can't.
Cam Payne is the only person I can think of, and he had a horrible game too against the Nuggets. Because when CP3 went out with his hamstring injury, Cam Payne was taking shots, and he was bricking shots big time, and they needed him bad. The Nuggets are up 2-0. If the Suns don't win Game 3, it's over. It's over. It's done.
Did they beat them in Phoenix?
That was both in Denver. So that's the caveat.
Because it's 2-2, 1-1-1.
Now, if they lose one in Phoenix, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Because you guys know as well as anyone, the most truest rule in the NBA is it don't matter until someone loses on their home court. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as that happens, that's why that Warrior Lakers game was so important, because that was in Golden State.
Yeah, it was a must win.
That was big for the Lakers because they took home court back from. So if the Lakers come out and win Game 2 in Oracle, it might be
Golden State has to steal 2 games
so
in
much
LA.
shit to you Warriors fans. Y'all don't understand why? Because we weren't supposed to be here. Yeah. That's why. Yeah, that's why we weren't supposed to be here. Look at us giving y'all some fear, man.
Steve Kerr better start hitting the panic button if they lose Game 2. Because
don't let them win this series, because I will not shut up. I promise you. Don't let them win the series.
If the Lakers beat the Warriors,
that'd be crazy.
They might be the favorite of all the teams left, honestly, because they have the talent and they have the championship pedigree with LeBron and AD leading the way. And those boys are locked in right now. I gotta say, the Lakers are maybe the scariest team right now outside the Nuggets.
With Austin Reeves as a scary X factor.
Yes,
he can just
scary.
He can literally just go off,
and he's not shy in the moment. The lights don't bother that kid, not at all. And he plays really well with LeBron.
Yeah,
not
many do.
No, not many do. And a lot of people have struggled to play with LeBron because he asks for a lot. He asks for a lot out of his role players, and as he should, because
he earned that right.
That's the same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady was never easy to play with because he demanded a lot, and he demanded more than you gotta give me everything and then that extra. If you want to win a ring, not to switch sports, but just a famous Tom Brady quote. One of the grittiest things ever was when he was with his first year with Tampa Bay, and they had just won the NFC Championship game. And this is straight from the linebacker's mouth, Devin White, that he was in the locker room crying because this is a monumental moment in your life. You're going to the Super Bowl. Something you've been dreaming out your whole life. And what did Tom Brady look over and go, "What you crying for? We ain't won shit yet." And that is the difference between being good and being the GOAT.
Yeah.
Mamba mentality.
That's
dogging them.
And what did they go do? They go smash the Chiefs in that Super Bowl. One of the most talented, with Patrick Mahomes, one of the most talented teams, reigning Super Bowl champions right now. They smashed on them. Yeah. And that is from your leader going bro, what you crying for? We ain't done shit yet.
For real.
And that is next level. That is Kobe, that is LeBron, that is Michael. Right there. Yeah. That is that ultimate X factor, that ultimate killer mentality. So
guess who doesn't have it? AD. Unfortunately.
Soft as Charmin, as someone would say. Soft as Charmin. Because you know what he should have done? He should have resigned with Golden State and created a dynasty right there.
He might as well.
But even he knew that those chips, he had to win it on his own. Why else would he have left? Yeah. He left a team that was dominating. Yep. Why?
Yep.
He'll never speak on it, but he knows. He's not stupid. Him choosing to leave already said everything you need to know about what his thoughts were towards his move.
That couldn't agree more.
Completely.
That was kind of weak.
Yeah, he knows. He'll never admit it, but he knows.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Like,
because, dude, if you look at the 3 that went to Brooklyn, talk about 3 people that feel like that they need to be either
prove something.
Yes, Kyrie, who won his ring with LeBron, always in LeBron's shadow. Another person who should have never left LeBron's side. His ego completely took him away from playing with LeBron, and now he wants to come back to LeBron because guess what? The grass ain't always greener on the other side.
What happened with Dallas, man?
And what happened with the Celtics when he said, "Oh, if you'll have me, I'm coming back next year." Yeah. Oh, that fool is full. That dude is full of shit. And then Harden, who still needs that ring. He's in the CP3 category.
Yeah, he need that.
He need that ring bad, dude, to legitimize his.
If they don't win this year.
And honest to God, man, all bullshit aside, I really do want to see Phoenix win it all, just because Phoenix hasn't won. You know what I mean?
They've never
it'd be
won.
really good to see. On top of that, CP3, I got my respect for him too.
Yeah,
my guy.
But it's that banana boat of players. Because they got CP3, Melo, LeBron, and missing one. D-Wade. And D-Wade, you know what I mean? And Melo's my guy. Melo's always been my guy. Mid-range god.
Mid-range god.
Hall of Famer. I don't care what nobody says.
And the fact that he doesn't have a ring breaks my heart.
Yes.
But he didn't get called up this season either, so he took this season off. So all bullshit aside, Father Time's coming up knocking on CP3's door too.
Big time. And he's banging on CP3's door.
It's fuck, man.
And he's tapping on Harden's door too, being like, bro, it's coming. Like you said, this season is so important for the 76ers because, especially for Harden's future, because. And honestly, Embiid has had a lot of injuries on those legs too, and I just saw that he was contemplating retiring after his first 2 years because he spent the first 2 years injured on the bench.
Horrible.
And so it's hard to go through those injuries and also to come back from those injuries.
Yeah.
And so both of those players are getting to the point where they might have to relegate to role players on their team and not be the starters anymore. Because they're getting up there, and especially CP3.
That pride's got to go.
If you want to win the ring, you might have to take the back seat, and you might have to come off the bench.
Imagine they pick up De'Aaron Fox.
That'd
be nuts. Oh, De'Aaron Fox and Devin Booker, and with CP3 as his mentor.
But they'd have to. You want to talk about not having a bench? They would have nothing left. But that should have been a player. They
get rid of KD.
That would have been a player smarter to go. You know what? I'm no expert, but instead of going and getting KD, they should have went and got Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
That's who they should have got. Can you imagine Dame Lillard with Booker
he also
and
don't want to leave
CP3?
That's why I fucks with Dame Lillard. He got that 90s mentality.
He's a real one.
He got that Reggie Miller hey, I am where I am. If it happens, it happens.
Dang, Reggie's another one who's on that list never winning a ring.
Yeah, dude, Reggie.
Yeah, Mike destroyed them.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And once again, if we're even going to have this conversation, Hakeem would not have 2 rings had Michael not retired those 2 years.
That's a big one.
I believe that. I believe it.
Because also, when Michael was out and Scotty was running the team, they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
They did.
And they did. Hey, they got cheated. I don't care what nobody say. They got cheated. Oh, hey.
That team was nice, bro. Even without Michael, they were really Scotty was holding it down, dude. He took over as the scoring leader and everything.
That goes to show how great Scotty was too, though.
He's probably most underrated player. He gets disrespected so much.
He does,
way too much.
And that's what happens when you're in the shadow of the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
That is what I think the Kyrie syndrome over these we just talked about because being under LeBron's shadow, especially with someone with Kyrie's ego, you want to be the guy, you want to be the reason, and everything. But sometimes you got to be Robin to the Batman. You can't always be Batman, and that's okay. Look at why we go back to these teams like the Warriors, Draymond, he is fine with his role and he accepts his role on the team. Now he ain't scoring freaking 15 a night. He barely scoring 10. And he ain't taking the credit. He's going, Steph Curry is one of the greatest shooters of all time, one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson. Never heard him complain not one time about being Curry's shadow. And he always will be. He's literally one of the best shooters of all time. Easily. And he's playing with the greatest shooter of all time. So he constantly is under his shadow.
And he compliments the greatest shooter of all time.
He does. And look at them. They have 4 rings. Like, when you're willing to take your ego and put it to the side, like, that's when you can really... Like, can you imagine maybe one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history is if Shaq and Kobe put their egos aside? How many rings would those two have?
They would have had 8.
Like, they might have,
and they probably would have had 8.
They might have had more than Michael.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, Kobe, there's a famous interview that Kobe talks about if Shaq trained as hard as, I forgot who he was comparing it was to himself or someone else. He said we'd have like 11 of those motherfuckers. Like, if Shaq would put the effort in to being like Kobe was just completely about the game. Like, you know, and then them two, they had that. There was literally like they both have come out on record and said they regret like the way that all went down
in that interview.
That interview, I was glued to every second of it.
When it was the two of them.
Oh yeah,
that's what you call maturity.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it took years though. It took them both retiring to look back and be like, you know what, man, I messed up. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things.
And then the hug, I was just like,
I dropped a couple of tears. I'm not gonna lie. Anything involving Kobe, it gets me emotional every time, man. No other player, no other celebrity ever in this planet gets me like that. But Kobe, man, that was my guy.
I still can't believe it. I still can't. I think my body still hasn't really processed it. It's just really crazy.
But like, not to like stray from that topic or anything, but I want to dive real quick on, for example, like Luka. So we all know how great Luka is, what he brings to the table, everything that he does. Do you guys see him staying there the rest of his career, and or how many rings do you think he's with, if any?
Ooh, not with the team they have now. No. They got big changes to do in Dallas. Like,
do you think he has a better chance of staying?
Ooh, I think he'll leave. I think in today's NBA, you will move around and they try to like. You know, it just seems to be like creating a team, like, is kind of the new thing to do. And I could see Luka leaving and trying to kind of create something in time, because at least the Dallas team now. But I will say, like, Mark Cuban's that owner who's willing to give whatever you want. Like, he will go get, you know,
he's a fantastic owner.
Have you ever heard the interview where he had Kobe locked to come to the Mavs in a trade?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
we need
that.
We'll look that up Chicago, and we'll come back. But yeah, he had that like almost done deal.
Dirk and Kobe?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He had it, dude. Mark Cuban is such a good owner. Like, that dude is always trying to whatever's gonna help his team win. He's willing to go out and do. And
also, too, because I don't know if you, for whoever's watching, if you guys remember JJ Barea, he was a star point guard, right? He was Puerto Rican. There was a huge hurricane that decimated Puerto Rico completely. Mark Cuban literally handed JJ Barea the team plane to bring supplies and everything. He paid for the supplies, all that, to bring it to Puerto Rico.
Dang,
and he flew it back and forth, just bringing supplies, helping out the island. Mark Cuban did that for his player because he saw the value in what he brought to the team. He's one of the greatest owners I've ever heard of. I swear to you. So he does. He goes over and out for his players. He does.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think Luka is probably going to end up staying with Dallas. I think it's going to be a whole situation like Giannis is. Like, as bad as you want Giannis to leave, also, not going to leave. So, where we left off, though, was I personally think that Luka Doncic is stay in Dallas the remainder of his career. It's going to be a whole Giannis situation where he feels like he's loyal to the team. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is. But it's actually crazy because Atlanta was actually supposed to have drafted him. And he got traded for Trae. You know what I mean? So Trae Young was supposed to be in Dallas all this time while Luka was supposed to be in Atlanta. But regardless, I didn't know that. They traded on draft day. They got traded. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, on draft day. Like, they literally switched hats. On draft day. So all this time, imagine him balling in Atlanta and Trae Young balling in Dallas. So.
And two ballers too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Both of them are cold.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They're like, they think they got a fair trade. As far as, because some people, whenever they trade somebody, that guy becomes a star while the other one ends up.
Yes.
Yeah, but they got a fair trade for sure. So,
yeah, they did. They definitely did.
So that's crazy.
Wow.
What about you, Ed? What do you?
I think Luka is gonna stay. It's just something about him. He gives off this demeanor like, I want to stay here no matter how hard it get. Like, I want to grind it out. If I get a ring here, I do. I feel like he got the Dame Lillard mentality. Like, this is my team, so I'm gonna thug it out. So I think he'll stay. I'll be shocked if he. I ain't gonna lie, I would be mind blown. I can't really picture him anywhere else.
I think it's just tough though because like Dallas isn't really a destination that a lot of players really kind of want to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, I didn't realize until recent years that as much as LA is beautiful and everything, people hate the Lakers. A lot of players in the league, they hate the Lakers because of history. And they grew up hating the Lakers for being dominant for decades. So they're not much of a fan of the Lakers. So some of them really don't want to go there. That's why LeBron went to Miami. Miami's beautiful. Butler went to Miami. Miami's beautiful. Yeah. There's a few teams that are kind of like that, but I feel like teams that people kind of avoid though, like to be honest with Dallas, Portland,
OKC,
Lillard,
OKC.
Orlando, OKC, definitely OKC.
Oh yeah. Nobody wants to go to Oklahoma.
Tornado City,
Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's even talking about the Pistons.
Nobody wants to. But it's funny when you look at like the livelihood of these players. Like, who wants to live in Detroit? I'm sorry, Detroit, but it's not. Love, but... It's not like the most beautiful place or the most safe place. Like, so, and Oklahoma, like, there ain't a lot going on. I'd also put the Cavaliers in that because Cleveland's famous. Let's not forget Joakim Noah's one of the most famous slides ever when he's like, I just stayed in my hotel room because look outside, like it's like there's nothing out here in Ohio. Like, why would I leave my hotel room?
I love Noah for that, bro.
That's insane.
Yeah. Oh, and man. So I agree. Those certain markets are tough to bring in talent, like, and especially if you're not throwing a bag, like you got to be throwing a bag their way.
Crazy bag.
And Miami has always been that spot, whether it's been in other sports too. Like the Dolphins always get talent because it's Miami. And the taxes in Florida, like the tax breaks you get in Florida compared to everywhere else, is like so much better for your money, for your own livelihood. And so and that's another knock to come to California. You're gonna get just destroyed in taxes. So like you
come for the legacy.
You come for the legacy. You know what I mean? And you come for the weather. Living in California is because obviously if you're coming to the Lakers, you're not living in the inner city. You're living in the hills, and you're living looking at the beach.
Calabasas.
Or in Malibu, looking at the water when you wake up.
And it's like people that go to like the Clippers, for example, the LA Clippers. They go because they want to go home. For example, Kawhi, he just wanted to go home.
Yes, and Paul George, because Paul George desperately wanted to be a Laker.
I forgot about Paul George.
Westbrook is from LA.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah, so is DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Yes, and they at least DeRozan and Paul George really, really wanted to be Lakers. I know Paul George for sure has gone on record saying how badly he grew up idolizing Kobe, wanting to be a Laker. That would have been great.
You know what messed it up? LeBron going there. LeBron went there. They changed their mind. They was like, anyway, I'm gonna go.
Because they were looking at him. They were. Paul George. They were. And I was happy. I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's a good pickup.
Yeah. That would be a great pickup. Paul George is a dog.
He is. He is.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say so as far as location destinations too, though, for some reason, man, but pre-Steph era, pre-Clay and Draymond era, nobody was really wanting to go to the Warriors or the Kings.
That's true.
And I go up there all the time in that area. It's a gorgeous area.
Yeah, true.
I even thought about moving up there too. It's gorgeous up there.
Yes,
it is. So it's kind of crazy that people don't really see that as a location that they'd want to play in.
I agree, but that was a place you go to lose, though. Because then sometimes you have the best of both worlds, when the Heat have been relevant and you're in Miami, it's like, wow, I'm a win-win.
Yeah.
But then Golden State is like, oh, it might be nice over there, but they suck, and they've sucked for years. So it's if I go there, I'm going into career purgatory. I'm gonna waste years in Golden State.
Yeah.
Curry really, really. Not by himself, but that whole squad. And kind of shout out to Mark Jackson, because as much as I respect Steve Kerr and what he's brought into the Warriors, they'd be nothing without what Mark Jackson started.
Shout out, Mark.
Mark Jackson was one of the first people that went out on a limb early on and said Steph Curry's the best shooter of all time. He came out and said that. And then everyone was like, this dude is crazy. Like, and now it's only been proven right over and over and over again over the years. Because, I mean, like, you cannot deny that, you can make arguments for players like Reggie and Ray Allen, but I think after Curry, what he has done over the years, like, I think it speaks for himself. Like, he is 1A, 1B, the greatest shooter of all time, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And, they really resurrected Golden State. Now Golden State is, like, that's where people want to play. That's where people would love to go.
Sign me up.
Yeah. And
see, shout out to Klay Thompson, too, though, because sometime later in the late season of this season, he ended up getting on... he ended up meeting with Shaq and Charles and all them, and he actually gave Mark his flowers. He basically said, shout out to Mark Jackson. Not many people know this, but he's the reason we're all here today.
Yes,
blah, blah, blah,
dude. Yes.
Man,
so he deserves just as much respect. So shout out to Klay for that, for sure.
Yes.
But my question, though, is when Boogie Cousins was the most dominant big man in Sacramento.
Yeah.
One of the most dominant big men in the league.
Yeah.
Because he was scary.
He was.
Why did nobody want to join his team?
Yeah. But the Kings are another place. Like, Sacramento is kind of the redheaded stepchild to San Francisco. Like, only because you have this, like, history in San Francisco, and not only, like, from sports, but just from culture and from, like, over the years, like, it's just its own unique place. And then Sacramento is just this, like, big city that's kind of, like, off to the side. Same thing as San Jose, kind of, like, disrespected, kind of, like, like, not the... I've been to Sacramento, like, don't get me wrong, I haven't lived there, but it's not the nicest place, like, it's just a big city.
I do love the culture, though. You guys, like, Sacramento has a lot of culture.
Sacktown.
A lot of amazing food spots and everything, and they're really proud of where they're from, and I love that for them.
Yeah.
I do. They ride for their town, like, people born and raised in Los Angeles ride for theirs. Like,
yes, 100%.
They ride for their town, so, like, props to y'all. Y'all deserve better. Y'all had better with the Kings this season. The Kings did amazing.
Yeah.
Their killer was just the fact that it was their lack of playoff experience.
Yes.
Which we all expected, though, because they haven't been in the playoffs since the Chris Webber days.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
And everything.
Boy,
so,
Doug
shouts
Christie.
to them.
Yeah. Dude.
They'll be back. Mike Bibby. Monster. That's another one right there, too. The small baby. Mike Bibby, Chris Webber.
Vlade Divac.
Divac. Peja Stojakovic, man?
Peja was my dog.
Are you kidding me?
Talk about one of the best shooters of all time.
My God,
Peja Stojakovic was cold as the other side of the pillow.
He got his jersey retired.
Is Peja on Mount Rushmore shooters?
Oh, yeah. Peja? Yeah. Yes, without a doubt. For sure.
Curry, Reggie, Ray, Peja.
Hey, what?
Klay should be under too, though.
The dude who died, Petrovic. Bro, I was looking up his highlights. Oh, my God.
It was insane, man.
Like, bro, hand in phase, like, didn't matter, bro.
Didn't matter.
That's scary.
And see, that was the thing, man. That's the thing about the Kings, though. I was studying their games, too, and it's just, although, yes, they had the greatest offensive team in NBA history, like, they ended up doing that. They ended up, I forgot what the word was. There was data that suggested it, that supported it, that they were the greatest offensive on the stats in NBA history. Their issue was, at least in my opinion, was when they took it down to the key. Domantas Sabonis, as amazing as he is offensively, not that big man. He's not that guy on defense. He's just not.
Yeah, he is soft.
Yeah. He got exposed, I feel like, against the Warriors. Now, it is impressive, though, because once again, you guys, they took the Warriors to 7 games.
Yes, they did.
That's impressive as hell.
First playoffs.
Yeah, and it was their first playoffs. Yeah. It was Fox's first playoffs.
Yeah.
Malik Monk went off the bench.
Malik Monk was open.
They better keep that core, honestly.
All respect to the Kings. Yeah. I was rooting for you guys like crazy.
Yeah.
I love an underdog team. That's why, believe it or not, I'm still going for Phoenix because historically they're an underdog team. They've never won. True. Right. I'm going for Denver because historically they're an underdog team.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going for that. Philly too. Historically, same thing. I'm going for y'all. You know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate that the Kings, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But come back hungrier. You guys learned. Yes. You guys learned from that loss. You guys learned from whatever mistakes you made. Back.
Yeah.
Bro, 3 to 5 years, bro. If they, I even say 2 to 3. If they keep that core, bro.
Yeah, man.
They my God.
They could be dangerous because they're the next coming. Because if you wait 3 more years, LeBron, Curry, KD, CP3, all these names are going to be phasing out for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I mean, it's not a secret. Like as soon as Bronny comes and LeBron plays one season, whether they're on the same team or not, plays one season with his son. That's it. That's what he's been talking about forever.
Yeah.
Even before Bronny was even that dude, like at Sierra Canyon, like he was saying, I want to play with my son. Like, and so as soon as that comes, like there is nothing LeBron has, especially if they win the ring this year.
Yeah.
Because he has nothing left to prove. Like absolutely nothing. Like. And he's already the all-time NBA scorer in the history. Yeah. So he just wants to play with his son, and that's pretty tight. I gotta respect that because I think that would be pretty dope.
That'd be cool.
But also, what respect though too is the fact that although he is waiting for his son, he's still giving 100% effort.
Oh
now.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally.
It's not that he's just like buying time, riding the bench. So that no, he is busting his ass every game.
Yeah.
Like it's his last, basically. And so all respect to LeBron, man. He will forever have like a little with me just because the way they would compare him and Michael. You know what I mean? And that's why I will forever be like when it comes to LeBron. But I cannot deny he is one of the greatest of all time.
Oh yeah,
and all respect to him.
Absolutely,
he earned it.
He did.
He earned it.
And then I like with LeBron. I loved it, and I wish he was like this all the time. But like when Dylan Brooks said what he said, and at the warm ups he addressed him about it. Like also like, oh, like, so you don't respect me, huh? And he was like, all right, bet, watch this. And he just straight dogged them. Like, I just wish he was like that all the time. So it gave me a little glimpse of 07 LeBron when he was just straight monstrous all the time.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I love that LeBron right there. That's
when LeBron has that chip on his shoulder, dude. Like,
and when Dylan was talking shit saying force him left, LeBron can't go left. And that game was decided off of a drive with his left hand.
Yeah. And he fouled him too.
Oh
yeah. Man. Dude, honestly, and then just going back to Luka, like I hope you guys are right because I really do respect to sum up like what we were talking about before too with KD and his rings. Like one thing is Giannis's one ring weighs so much heavier.
Yeah.
The scale is like this.
Yeah.
To KD's 2 rings and his MVPs to Giannis's 1 ring and his MVP.
Facts.
Because Giannis never quit on the Bucks. And then he was such a driving force in them winning that series. Like he played it unbelievably in that entire series. Like
Giannis had he didn't have his right hand man. Chris Middleton was down that part.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he missed a couple games in that series. Like and you look at like Giannis and then you talk about like Dame and you talk about Luka and I would love nothing more to see Dame win a ring in Portland.
Oh man, that's a dream.
Like
Dame win a ring, period.
You know what else? Why Giannis did it without a super team.
Yeah.
In the super team era. He won without a super team.
Yeah. He never had another star come over. Like where he literally was like, oh, I'm going to go get one of the top tier players. Like, no, I'm going to win with my guys. Like and a bunch of role players really like.
Yeah.
But like, you can't name outside of Giannis. Like, I mean, I no disrespect to Middleton or Drew Holiday or Brook Lopez, or even like Bobby Portis. Like, but
who's also
Bobby Portis is special. Like he is really like ascended
for sure.
But like that team was like just a good squad together, but not like 3 stars or 2 stars. Like just one. Meshed. Yeah, they meshed really well and they played like really well, especially like honestly like in the past 10 years, like that series had me like on the edge of my seat every single game. That was of good. That series was intense and was great. And I would love to see Luka follow in those footsteps. I'd love to see Dame follow in those footsteps because nowadays, like you said, it is a super team era and no one stays loyal to their team anymore. Facts. And in fact, if you go across all sports like football, hockey, soccer, or football, like if you will, nobody is loyal anymore. Like people are bouncing to get that bag, and I can't knock it. You got to get that bag.
They'll trade you in a heartbeat.
True. But I mean, I miss the days of like when someone retired wearing one jersey their whole career.
Yeah.
I miss those days because it's just so rare anymore. Yeah. And being a football fanatic, watching every single year the turntable of these players are out the door and these players are leaving. this and that, and it's just heartbreaking as a fan because you want to see some players just start their career with your team and finish their career with the team. Like, and it harkens back to people like Jordan. Well, not Jordan. I'm sorry, I forgot about the Wizards, but Kobe and freaking Dirk and Tim Duncan and Reggie and Tim Duncan. Like, you know, the just it holds more. When you say, like, they wore one jersey their whole career. Patrick Ewing. Like, Patrick Ewing, yeah. And another one who goes on Mount Rushmore of never winning that big one. Like, Patrick Ewing. Like, that's another one right there. You know, like, and so those, I think, just are in a special place. Like, and I'm not taking rings away from all the people that left to get a ring, like LeBron or like Shaq, who got multiple rings. Yeah. And, like, but, you know, it just hits different, I think. Like, it hits different. And I'd love to see players nowadays do that. And I love seeing Dame come out multiple times saying that I don't want to do. In fact, Dame is such a good rapper too. Yeah. His music is pretty fire. Like, he spits hard, and like he has spit bars about this exact thing about not wanting a super team and wanting to win with Portland. And I respect that big time. Talk about another really small market. Nobody wants to go to Portland.
Nobody wants
to. And it's beautiful over there, and still nobody wants to go to Portland.
Yeah. But, like, and that's what also leads into, like, how sweet those championships are, though, for, like, when Giannis won. Mm-hmm. Because it's one of those things, like, when there's, like, a giant that keeps winning, and then that one team steals it, right? So, for example, Kobe and Shaq, Detroit stole that one year. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fast forward you fast forward a little bit. The Heat are dominating. Dallas stole that one chip. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or the Spurs, they stole that one chip. A little further, Cavs stole that one chip from the Warriors, right?
Oh my gosh.
Raptors, they go a little bit further. The Raptors stole that one chip. You know what I mean? And that was the Bucks.
They did.
So it's like this. I love when, you know, teams win, when they repeat. That's awesome. It's awesome to see it is, but it's just something sweet about when a chip is won. Yeah. When that team is rolling and you just take it from them, you stop them from doing that three-peat. Oh man, it's everything.
Because Milwaukee, who wants to go to Milwaukee? Is like in the Midwest, and like,
all love to y'all. Like, all love
to and a no hate towards Milwaukee. Don't get me twisted, but when we're talking about like if you're a sports star and you have this on the table is all these places to go. I'm sorry, but Milwaukee is just like Green Bay. Like,
I'll go to Orlando before I go to Milwaukee. I'm sorry, Florida's beautiful.
Yes, you're going to the cold, the Midwest. Like, it's, you know, a lot of farmland, a lot of nothing out there. You know, so, you know, it's a hard market to sell. It's a hard market to sell to superstars out there. Like, and so you gotta hope that you and plan on drafting talent and hope that when that contract is up, they are going to re-sign and stay. Yeah. You know, and that's hard to do in these small markets like Toronto. And like, I mean, you got to go to Canada. Too. You got to leave the United States to go to freaking play for the Raptors. Like, that's a hard sell too. Yeah. Like, you know, like, and Toronto is cold and Canada is cold.
Heard they got great water though.
Great water?
But like it's same like for example Boston, right? Is Boston the nicest place to live? No, it's not. But like the legacy of basketball and baseball and football.
Rich.
Like, you know what I mean? So
spoiled.
You go because of the legacy. You know what I mean? You go to New York, for example, the Knicks and Brooklyn Nets, right? Brooklyn, is it the nicest place?
Oh yeah.
Is it the nicest place? No. You know what I mean? New York, it's just the history. There's so much history in New York. Rich. Baseball, football, everything. Actually,
but even but hey, like shouting out to the New York Giants who beat the 17-0 Patriots. Yeah. Like in like one of the most.
I love that was one of my favorites.
That was a fantastic game.
Maybe one of the best Super Bowls of all time.
I think as a country, we were rooting for them.
Oh, the entire. I was the biggest New York Giant fan in that game. Like, and like they won 2 rings. They beat the only. You know, I always say that like at the freaking holiday dinner, like Eli Manning can flop his dick on the table in front of Tom Brady and say, what? Like, I beat you 2 times, 2-0, and no one else can say that against Tom Brady.
That's true.
Like, he won 2 rings against Tom Brady. Like, 2.
That's true.
But like, so you are right. New York has like a rich history in all sports. Same with Boston. Boston, you some spoiled fans. I'm telling you, you spoiled. Yeah. Like we talking the Bruins, we're talking the Patriots, we're talking the Celtics,
Red Sox,
Boston Red.
you all spoiled, and I don't want to hear any complaints out of you Patriot fans ever again.
And now all of a sudden, though, with the Celtics, you think they finally have some shitty years after KG and Paul Pierce. Now all of a sudden, look at a few years down the road, they got freaking Jason Tatum,
and Brown and Smart, and they had Kyrie and they had Kemba, and they fumbled that up, and they had Isaiah. Well, freaking Isaiah was nasty.
Y'all did my boy wrong.
Dirty.
Y'all did Isaiah wrong.
Dirty. Like,
y'all gotta show that man love. No lie.
He deserves better. He deserves so much better.
And he got traded. It's not like he even left.
No, he didn't want to leave.
Like, do y'all know what a trade is, bro?
Hey, shout out to Isaiah Thomas, though, man.
Big shout out.
You know what I mean? It's all love. Yeah. Always, man. We're
love Isaiah Thomas.
Represent for the little guys.
We want to see you back on that court.
ASAP, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Come to Orlando. We'll take you.
Hey, they'll take
right away, bro. And you'll be starting up in there, okay?
Take your uncle. They'll probably take them too, you know?
He's not wrong.
I'm playing.
Isaiah's uncle, what you up to?
Man. So, I think that's kind of all we have for now.
That's pretty much it for this segment. Something to Say podcast. I'm Ed.
Jeff.
Rudy.
Get out of here, man.
On and out, man. Till next time, y'all.